tables on you.
Oh no.
Dan. Table Turner Dan. Table Turner Dan.
Table Turner Dan. Let's see if this is live. All right, we're live. Hi everyone. Sorry about that. I had some technical issues. So we're with Jodah and Dan today. And
hey everybody. So Philip, who the heck
No.
are you?
No. Hold on a second. First off, welcome to Hashed Out Spotlight, everybody.
What was the show called, Jodah? I couldn't understand what you said.
Hashed Out Spotlight, Dan Tarker. And I want to welcome everybody here. This is our second show, and we are waiting for our guest. But in the meantime, we have Philip Kripp here, who has the show right after our show. And so, Dan, please go for it. What was your question?
So who are you, Philip? I've only seen you in passing, but you're our handler. So
our handler. So I do the daily crypto news show on Hashed Out. So not the spotlight, like everything else, whether it's gaming during the weekend or even watching the primary debates and looking at it from a crypto perspective. I've done 2 of those so far.
What did you think of the last GOP debate?
I think it was better than the first.
Oh, really? That seems like a counter to what a lot of other people are saying.
I don't think most people would think that, but the reason is I found it a lot easier to comment on because when somebody said something that wasn't true, somebody else called them out for it and immediately corrected them. So I didn't really have anything to say on the content because they were correcting each other, which was really nice. Right. You don't usually see that in debates. So there are certain things I know better than most folks because, for example, I lived 3 years in Ukraine. So when one candidate says something about it and I know it's wrong and another one corrects him, I'm like, good.
Okay, I definitely want to get into the Ukraine stuff, but what did you learn about what the GOP thinks of crypto from the debate?
So some of them were interested in innovation, and the best people to talk to weren't allowed to talk very much about it. So I thought that was interesting.
Who are those? Who are those people?
He was here.
Oh, I didn't see him yet. You got him?
We're waiting for our guest, folks.
Yeah,
he's elusive.
It's interesting.
Yeah, Philip. So you've got also a specific vantage point. You don't live in the United States, right? Now,
no, I'm in Montenegro. So I'm actually like 10 minutes away from where they're holding Dokwan.
Yes.
For people that know about that whole thing.
Are you attending?
What do you mean by that?
Or what is it, I guess?
No, so I moved to Montenegro partially because it's more of a Slavic country and my wife needed some kind of cultural ties to that. And then I'm French and American, and where I was living in Ukraine, I was the only foreigner, and it was under Russian occupation for 6 months. So I wanted a NATO country.
Right. So what drew you to Ukraine?
Well, so the personal answer would be my wife. The professional answer would be I switched jobs to avoid ending up like my manager in France who ended up in a coma from stress. Here's our guest, by the way.
All right. Well, you were also our guest, Philip, and thank you. And so we'll see you at the end of the show, I'm assuming. So,
yeah.
Hey, George.
There we go.
All right. Do you hear us, George?
I didn't hear you sound.
All right, I'll let you guys take it from here. We'll talk again sometime.
Thanks, man.
Hey, George, are you able to hear us?
Hello, I'm trying. So.
Okay.
No, it seems to be working. No, it's because I put the Bluetooth on, so it's not too much background noise.
Right. Where are you at?
I know I'm in Dubai at the Sofitel.
Oh,
every place is my office. So it's okay.
Yeah. I know a guy, I think his car is his office. So, George, welcome to the Hashed Out show on the channel. And you haven't had a chance to meet Jodah yet, have you?
No, I have not. It's first time. Pleasure to meet you.
So you as well, and It's also a pleasure to meet you as well, George. And I'm real curious, just as specific. So, George Sebastião, as I think that's how I pronounce it. Is that correct?
Yeah, Jorge Sebastião. Jorge Sebastião is fine.
Okay, and we're just where is that name from?
It's a Portuguese origin name.
I knew it. I knew that's why I said it sounded Portuguese to me.
But you've been all
Interesting.
over the place. I looked at your CV. But you went to school in London. You've been to Canada. You're now in the Arab Emirates. So, what's your story? That's an eclectic path that I know you've been in technology for 40 something years. So, you want to give us a thumbnail sketch of your history?
What brought you to the Sofitel today, talking to Dan Tarker and Jodah Jensen?
Oh, that's you guys are so curious. No, anyway, let's start each answer at a time. So I'll try to answer each one. First, my story. Oh, I'm a technologist originally. I guess a mathematician. Mathematics is kind of the basic for a lot of the technology. So, my first actually, I did the co-op in mathematics from Ottawa. So my first work was actually predicting lake levels in the Lake of the Woods Control Board for environmental Canada, but that was in the early days of computing, if you want to call it that, at the time where punch cards still existed. But since then,
Punch
of course,
cards.
Yes, I saw punch cards.
I remember them too, actually.
Punch cards were being used actually by Quebec Hydro to collect the bills from the customers. What you get in the mail is actually a punch card. That was the bill. So, but of course, my first 10 years of work has been in Canada, which means really North America, not just Canada, from head to toe, quite a lot of things, including being the youngest manager in Canada Post technology and also in Computer Associates. Then me and a friend, we were having a barbecue in Montreal. And of course, taxes in Canada, although it's very nice, but you pay a lot of it. So where can we go in the world and actually not pay any tax? So we found a few countries in the Caribbean, World Bank, United Nations, African Union, and about 6 countries in the Middle East. So we said the first one came up, we go. So
can we stop there for a second on that chapter? Because one thing I've already noticed, you're a second interview on the show, and what I'm starting to notice as a theme with a lot of people in the crypto environment is not wanting to pay taxes, avoiding taxes. So do you want to talk a little bit about that? What are your concerns around that? Because I feel like there's a libertarian mindset to a lot of the crypto world.
Well, first, I'm not what you would call a pure crypto guy. I can call myself a technologist. So for me, blockchain as a technology is an important element of life. Now, crypto is just a use case. It's actually a small use case. There's much bigger ones. But your point is correct. I think as much as we like the banks and as much as we like service, well, that's the point. So, and as much as we like the government that taxes collect, we found there's a very big imbalance. I mean, I think in Canada, if you are a single woman of color and some other type of gender and have probably a single kid, I mean, you have a very extremely nice life because everything is covered for you and subsidized and so on. Who does pay for that? The people that actually work hard and pay the taxes. So you can say it's a very socialistic society, which creates a very good quality of life, probably number 1 or number 2 in the world. But at the end of the day, governments, although they spend tax, they also are extremely inefficient, which means they choose how to spend your money, not you as an individual. So when you come to places like the Middle East, it's not, yes, there is no tax, but you pay for everything, the visas, you pay for medical, you pay for school.
Right.
But you choose what you pay for and what you don't pay for. So to some extent, there's a freedom of choice that comes. And again, this extends to the banking. Banking are very extremely, shall I say, ineffective organizations. And you can say blockchain has allowed to, on one side, democratize the access to technology. And when I say blockchain, it's not just blockchain. I mean, it's a combination of many technologies, being in technology for 36, 37 years now. It's the creative use of technology. So let's take example of a company like Revolut. It's an amazing technology. Actually, they don't make too much money yet. They're still losing a lot of money. But Revolut owns two things. They own the interface to the user and they own the customers. And what they have done, they have created an ecosystem of partners that deliver them the services. Companies like Currency, Cloud, and many others. And guess what? Today you can transfer money anywhere for free in a few seconds. And that's what allows me, for example, to pay my kids that are in university when they call me just 5 minutes before they actually need the money. Now, if I was going to do that with blockchain, is a bit complicated because something like, I don't know, MetaMask is still a little bit inaccessible to the non-technology people, where something like Revolut is extremely accessible. But if we go back to countries that sometimes we consider less evolved or even less developed, they are also smart. I mean, I remember being able to pay for a taxi or for a snack in Nigeria as far back as 7+ years ago, even more, using mobile credit. So that means micropayments using mobile platforms. And this extends not just to the fancy smartphones that you use today, but the old Nokia character-based phones allowed you to pay for things. And this is a massive revolution. That means, are you going to say, how was this all orchestrated? A bit of creativity and a bit of technology. Creativity in the sense, the guy who's operating that business, what he does, let's say you're a taxi driver, you give rides to people and you collect mobile credit from the people because that's how they pay. It's contactless, frictionless payments. At the end of the day, you go to a mobile shop, you transfer the mobile credit to the shop, and he gives you real money. And then you can go out and buy the food and whatever else you need to feed your family.
This was before crypto, right? I mean, this is before blockchain. Because I think I remember hearing about this, especially in the African nations. They were leveraging cell phones to actually, because the fiat cash was hard to come by or something.
It's hard to get. It's somebody can steal it from you. So that means your mobile phone becomes your digital wallet. So, the mobile first movement has been going on for quite some time. And you can say that traditionally the desktop or the laptop has been shrinking and going away. So many people today don't use either a tablet or they use a phablet, which is or a phone with a very big screen.
My wife doesn't even know what a computer is, really. She only lives on her phone. I don't even know how she does her banking on her phone, but she does it.
So the phone has become has become the device of choice. Has become the device of choice. And most people call it a phone, but it's not a phone. Today's mobile phones that we have actually are more powerful than when we went to the moon, you can say. So at the end of the day, this mobile phone is 1 gigabyte of memory, and some of them have got GPUs. I've been doing a lot of work in artificial intelligence, and for the last few years.
George, can I interrupt real quick? So I want to can I dial this back just real quick here? So Dan asked, Dan asked you, taxes, which I think is really getting at the crux of the question, and there's a lot of technology being bantered and people throwing all these different solutions. And in my space, I'm always looking to see what is the value we're going to be adding to the human condition, right? The human condition, right? Capitalism should be serving the human condition, not inversely, right? We're not here to serve the capitalist mechanism. We're here, that capitalist mechanism should be serving us, should be making our lives better. So in theory, from the blockchain world, there's this thing called blockchain. And a lot of things get talked about it. But this channel here that we're on, most of these people know what they already think about blockchain. They know the insides about it. They know the workings. They know why they're interested. But Dan and I like to try to ask our guests and people, can you explain for Tom, Dick, and Sally of the United States, who just leverages fiat money, what is blockchain? Just why? I mean, it
Actually,
actually scares me, right?
No, actually, at the end of, for me, being a mathematician, blockchain is actually a very simple technology. It's on one side, it's a technology of trust. It means it allows either two individuals or individual organization or two organizations to establish a relationship of trust without knowing each other, without transacting face to face, and exchange value. Now, what is that value? That value could be tokens, could be fiat money in the form of tokenized fiat money, can be valuable assets like real estate property, a car. Now, what that power of, you can say, decentralized ledger technology with the trust built in allows us to do is that to remove a lot of these intermediaries that charge a lot of money, slow the process down, and really add no value. So it's just you and the person or the organization you want to transact to. So it's fast, not always, but mostly fast. It's immutable, so it's there. It's for there. Actually, most people think that somehow blockchain is hiding. No, actually, blockchain is visible to everybody. Of course, semi-visible, so it's semi-transparent in many cases. Guess what is the biggest investment in blockchain that the government of the United States is doing? There's a company called Chain Analysis that makes billions of dollars for the government of the United States, or the United States pays them for services. And guess where they're going after? They're going after collecting taxes from the people that thought that blockchain will allow them to actually escape the taxes.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's coming full
keep
circle.
Uncle Sam away from his taxes.
So the technology they thought was going to save them is actually tying them down. And guess what? Because the transaction is immutable, it's not like you can say, well, I never really did that transaction. No, it's there for everybody to see, including the government.
George, when I talked to you before, you talked about people making their own blockchain. So if I wanted to make a blockchain for me and Jodah, like I wanted to build a blockchain to transfer money just to Jodah, and we don't want anyone else involved, just between us, how would I go about doing that?
Okay. Actually, it's much simpler than you think. First thing, and the power of blockchain is actually another power that is behind it, is the power of what we call open source. Open source really means you have a bunch of individuals cooperating together to write code. Now, let me give you an example. Many of you probably have used Microsoft Office and so on. Microsoft Office has become irrelevant.
I've never heard of this Microsoft
Office. Anyway, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, etc. So the point is, Microsoft was charging us, I don't know, $500 every few years. Now they rent it, so it's kind of a little bit more actually. But to make a long story short, you have to rebuy every few years something that you thought you already owned.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, there's something called LibreOffice that came around, which has exactly the same functionality.
I remember that.
And it's actually a collaborative effort of everybody. And guess what? You can use today the equivalent functionality of Microsoft Office called LibreOffice for free. Okay, is it really free? Well, yes and no. I mean, if you want support, maybe you have to pay somebody for support or assistance, but 99.99% of it is 100% free. So back to the blockchain. It's open source. All the blockchains of the world, or most of them, have published their source code in places like GitHub and others. That really means if you want to start your own blockchain, what you do is you take the open source of an existing blockchain, the one that has the attributes that you're looking for. And usually the attributes meaning the performance, the consensus mechanisms, which is how we establish the trust relationship. And then you select that one. And you say, okay, now I have the code to create a blockchain. You rename it. So instead of being the original name, now it's the Dan and Jodah blockchain. You add a few other, you add your own extra attributes. You want to make it unique. Maybe, I don't know, you want it blue instead of yellow, etc., and so on and so on. The kind of wallets you want inside, the names of the tokens, how you want it free or paid, and so on. And then you say, okay, I need to host it. So typically, the nodes that power a blockchain are called miners. They're nothing to do with miners, but think of it as computers that are highly running on decentralized. But actually, most blockchains today are actually not decentralized. They're actually extremely centralized. Actually,
and isn't
90%.
that an issue right now? There's the
It
decentralized
is.
versus the centralized people who are going at it vigorously.
Correct. So most of the blockchains today are being hosted where? On Amazon and Google Cloud. So what you do is you start up a few servers on Google Cloud, you put the blockchain there, and then you need about 3, 4, 5 nodes, and you're ready to go. Your blockchain is live. You create what's called the test net, which is the testing ground to run the blockchain. Then you create a few tokens, you issue a few wallets, and you start running transactions, and you're done. That's it. You ask me, how long does that take? Technically, you can probably do it in a few hours, but feasibly, it will take you about 4 to 5 days.
George, did I just hear you say that Amazon is technically running the financial world as I hear it? Is that what I just heard?
Actually, Amazon is running, and Google, they're running a lot more than the financial world, but we'll leave that for another
discussion.
Another technical discussion. That is correct.
But Google has vowed to only do good.
They are good. They're very
good.
peaceful. It is a good company. It's got GOO in it.
Yeah, they're very good to their shareholders and their owners. Of course, they are 100%.
So
actually,
okay,
the scary part about Google, since you mentioned, probably the only company that knows more than yourself, which is kind of.
I know,
actually,
right?
Let me tell you an interesting part, because one of my backgrounds is cybersecurity. You know that when you turn off a Google phone, meaning turn it off, meaning you don't connect it to anything, it actually collects more data than when it's actually connected. So Google literally knows everything. I mean, if you park your car, you know, did you went to the bathroom, or you went to the drugstore, or you went to the cold store? How long did you waited? So what likely you were about to buy, and so on. So it's amazing the amount of data that we're providing to these companies. Of course, with social media, this amount of data is even more exponential. So now you can imagine. So they literally know more about yourself than we know about each other.
That's how I track my friend Dan here. I know everything about him through Google. So sorry, Dan. I know. Quick question on open source. We in tech world kind of use these terms, and Tom, Dick, and Sally, when they hear open source, meaning maybe kind of think of it as a term of generic, and we think of generic brands as being not as good as the brands. You want to get, you want a Campbell's soup, or do you want Campbell's soup, off-brand soup? Open source sounds maybe kind of scary. I mean, what does that even mean? You kind of went into it, but why would I trust open source when it's not centralized and controlled versus Microsoft?
Well, actually, one of the best aspects about open source, and when I mean open source, is many aspects, including security built in. It's a collaborative effort. So something like, for example, LibreOffice has thousands of developers actually contributing to the product. Anyway, Microsoft was doing that, but just in a slightly different way. What they were doing is releasing a product almost ready, and they say, oh, don't worry, the users will test the bugs, they tell us what the bugs are, and we'll fix it on the next version. But open source kind of streamlined that entire process. But this collaborative contribution effort has allowed us to develop products much faster than before. And by the way, it's not open source and collaborative has extended beyond developing products. It has extended to security. So for example, in the past, the way you used to do security and the way you consider to do security is that you run your software against penetration testing and many other things, audits of the code, etc. But today, one of the most favorite ways to ensure that the products you release are secure, it's something called a bug bounty. And what is a bug bounty? It's kind of an open source way that allow other people to test your product, and if they're successful, you pay them. It's the best of both worlds. You get much better products, more safe, more secure. And instead of having maybe 10 guys working for you in the office testing your products, you have millions of people that really improve and the quality and the safety of the product that you have. So it changes the dynamics. It's this concept.
It's like Wikipedia for internet security.
That is correct, yes. And it's a crowdfunding approach to content or to development or to actually solve a complex problem.
But Dan, isn't Wikipedia often kind of criticized for being you know where I'm going, not criticized. It's debatable whether Wikipedia, because it is crowdsourced, that the information
Fact
is accurate.
checking. I mean, yes. I mean, from an information point of view, you want to like maybe start there, but you don't want to end there. You definitely want to double check for sure.
Yeah.
I think that's true with anything, right?
Yeah.
You have to correlate. You need to have
Yeah.
different angles and then figure out, because at the end of the day, in today's world of the internet, most of the information and a lot of the information turns out to be garbage, because people can generate garbage at the speed of light, and Google takes the pleasure in indexing that garbage, so it exponentially turns the problem even
And then
much
AI
bigger.
gobbles up all that garbage and spews it out as
No,
hallucination.
generates. Yes, exactly. Generates more content. So now you have exponential creation. Which,
George, are we in danger here? Because you're an AI person too, right? So
Yes.
maybe we could start off by talking, to frame this part of the discussion, talk a little bit about your history in working with AI over the years, because it's not new. It's been around for a while. We're just kind of suddenly seeing it with ChatGPT-3, and are we going to be entering a world that's just filled with information garbage if we're not careful?
And Dan's always saying that my intelligence is artificial too. So what does that mean exactly? So I don't know.
Okay, well, first, AI is not really artificial and it's not really intelligent. But anyway, that's another story.
Yeah, exactly.
But to some extent, it is a way to approximate what we can call mathematical equations with certainty. So artificial intelligence can only do a good job if two things are present. One is high density of data, that means lots and lots of data. And the second one is good quality of data. If any of those elements are absent, meaning if the data is bad or garbage, and if there is not enough data, then AI just misbehaves completely. I mean, it might be accurate 50 or 60 or 70% of the time, but the other rest, it simply will not do so good, or it hallucinates, as you can call it almost. But you can say that AI has been with us probably for 40 plus years. I was predicting lake levels almost 36 years ago. And that is a form of AI. We're taking inputs of data, which was rain, lake flows, etc., with outflows, and then based on percentiles, what is the likelihood of being able to generate electricity and keep the water level at a certain level acceptable to the lake. That's it. It's all percentiles of accuracy. Now, today's AI is better than the other one for many, many reasons. One is data storage has become cheaper, data communication has become cheaper, computing power has become substantially cheaper, and the combination of all these elements together, but even those are not enough, has enabled us to create much more powerful versions of the AI. What does more powerful mean? More accurate, more dimensions of data combined together. So where previous may have done 3, 4, 5 elements, today you can do thousands of elements combined at the same time. But I think what has enabled AI to be kind of democratized and accessible, it's actually not been AI. It's the thing that we forget as the most important in computers, which is the user experience. So now you're going to say, wow, what does that have to do with it? No, what has made ChatGPT go from 0 to 100 million users in 2 months, which is much faster than Spotify and other technologies, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. None of them even come close to that level of adoption in a short period of time, is that the grandmother can actually use ChatGPT. You just type a little question and you get an answer without any advertising, without any garbage, concise, precise, and focused. Now, what is that answer based on? Is based on the data that was used to actually train the model. So if that data is the internet, then that answer is based on the contents of the internet. If that data is based on the data of the company, then the answer is based on the contents and the accuracy of that data. So you can say today AI is becoming like your co-pilot or your co-driver. Now that means it enables you to function faster. Well, faster, not 10% faster, 5 times faster, 20 times faster. Now, but you still have to verify, you still have to validate.
Mhm.
And this actually is interesting because the advent of AI created a new kind of jobs that was not really available before. And one name for this job is called microtasking. Most people, maybe they know or they don't know what it is. Microtasking is actually a job of people that want to make a small salary. And what I mean by a small salary, they'll make maybe 1 cent or 5 cents per transaction. And their job is to verify the AI. So you have the AI, it got trained, let's say it's on pictures and images, and then you gotta validate or verify the AI. And so you put a picture in, AI says it's a dog. Is it really a dog or it's not a dog? So what you do is you give it to a real person, and his job is to say, dog, dog, yes, it's a dog. True, AI was correct. No, AI was incorrect. So they're actually testing the AI or validating the contents of the AI. So it's a low-paying job, but very big frequency job that enable us to get AI to a better quality than it was before. So you can say the human element in AI is extremely important to actually introduce AI in a better performing way. Of course, once you then use AI in other contexts, AI level of performance depends on what you're trying to do. Okay, let me take this example. Let's say if I'm trading stock and I'm using AI to make recommendations whether to buy or to sell and etc. AI, if it's 65, 75% accurate, it's good enough. Meaning, if I make the trades according to what it is and follow recommendations, I'm going to be right 75% of the time. Meaning that, guess what? I will lose, I gain, but I gain more than I lose. So it's doing
I
the
don't
job.
like to lose at all. I'll be mad
Now,
at my AI, especially money.
no, correct. Well, money comes, money goes. But if the AI is driving an airplane, or if the AI is driving a car, or AI is performing an operation or deciding whether you have a cancer or don't have cancer, then 97% is not enough, good enough. 99 is not good enough. You need 99.99, maybe 5 nines. But guess what? Even with the 5 nines, somebody might die.
Yeah.
So there's serious implications to that, and we discovered that when I guess the Volvo car kind of went over a pedestrian late at night because the co-driver was not paying attention. So the point is, AI is getting better with each iteration, but it still has some steps to go depending on the use case and the application that you use it for.
Do you
Yeah.
think the AI development will be exponential? Do you think it's going to be an exponential improvement over time, or do you think it's going to flatline after a point?
It will be a series of waves of improvement. You understand? I believe that technology is kind of waves of improvement. And what I mean is like there's a wave that is exponential, then it flattens out. Then there's a bit of better improvement, it creates another wave. And what I've seen is that these waves keep getting more pronounced. It's a bit like the weather in the United States, these because of what some people call global warming, the wind and the storms have been getting more vicious than before. The same is happening in technology. So technology is amplifying these waves to actually. So where in the past when I was doing my first work terms in technology and we did cases for, okay, 30% improvement was good. So we decided to buy and proceed with technology. Today, if you go present to a board, oh, this technology will improve you by 30% more. People are not excited. People want 10 times, 30 times, 50 times. That means 5,000% or 50,000%. And today, with AI and other components, and when I say AI, it's not just AI, it's AI, IoT, robotics. The dynamics of how we do things is completely different than it was before. So let me take one simple example. Or maybe I've played with something called the Rubik's Cube. Maybe it was taking me, I don't know, 5
You can only
days
get
to
one
solve
side. One
it.
side.
Yes.
I just
So
took
you
the
just take,
stickers off and rearranged them so they.
Yeah.
I tried that as well. That's the fastest. But
Winning.
even that took you 5 minutes for
That's
sure
right.
to put it
That's
back
right.
together. So now, how much do you think will robotics, vision, and AI allow you to solve the Rubik's Cube? Pick a number of time.
Every time.
Every time. But no, the amount of time.
Oh, the amount. Oh, a split second. I mean,
0.38 of a second.
Yeah.
So 1/3 or one kind of a little bit less than one, more than 1/3 of a second. That's how long it takes to solve the Rubik's Cube problem, from a mess to something that is success. So that means when you combine this technology, so this is where it becomes interesting. It's not about one technology. It's about combining and stitching several technologies together to achieve a given goal. And that goal may be driving a car, maybe manufacturing, and so on. Maybe it's even a podcast. I mean, if you go look at certain parts of the world, the news anchor is now a robot. You know, you're gonna say, why would you want a robot as a news
Don't
anchor?
help me, George.
Max Headroom.
Robots don't make mistakes, you know.
Neither do I.
There is no there's no bloopers. So they spill out exactly what they were told to do.
So where are these robot anchors? What countries?
Wait.
I haven't seen these.
Dan, before we move forward, I want to actually go back to something you said about.
They look like you and me.
10 minutes
this is
ago.
The scary part. They look like you and me. They have skin.
Okay, all right.
They have face.
So you mentioned, you said money comes and goes. Tom, Dick, Sally. That's a scary statement. And you also mentioned in the fluxes of reality because of technology, they kind of their amplitudes are getting higher. And there's already concerns around algorithmic trading in the stock market, and so people are suggesting that has caused these extremes sometimes, in the system as we know it. And people are leveraging these stock markets as a way to make capital for themselves. The average person, someone who's not in technology, they go to work, they work at a grocery store, they're putting their money in, and then they see it disappear. When you say it goes, for some of these people, it just goes. It goes and goes and just goes. Those words, comes and goes, is not a comfort word. And maybe you're not trying to make people feel comfortable. But again, if we're trying to get these technologies to cross the chasm, to get people to adopt and say, my life will be better because of these, how do you sewage that? How do you make people feel better about money comes and goes? Is that just going to be the future and somehow it'll come again, or what?
No, when I say money comes and goes, in the sense that every time you have technology and you have startups, for every 100 startups, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 will succeed. That means the other ones will fail. And they will fail not because they were bad startups, maybe they had the wrong timing, the wrong mix of technology, and so on. The same thing applies, you mentioned, to be about trading. Your point is correct. When you use algorithmic trading and you use AI to drive trading, the amplitudes of the gains and the losses are also exponential. It means when there's a crash, the crash is faster and much bigger than if it was driven by humans. That really means that if you want to play the stock market and you want to kind of make your bets or edges, okay, will it go up or down? If you don't have AI assistance, your chance of winning is extremely low. That means the house always wins, for lack of a better term. Now, does technology can make our lives better? Can technology, aid us in the things we do? Yes, there's many applications of AI that are helping society. One example would be like in call centers. If you have, for example, when people dial and they have like a suicide hotline. Today, now we have AI providing the answers and interacting. Maybe some people are more lonely, so they're able to interact with AI, and that becomes their friend. And it allows
it's like that movie Her, right, where the guy falls in love with his cell phone.
Yes, and there's been a few movies where guys or girls have fallen in love into a completely virtual character. So your point is correct. So today AI is enabling to provide certain services that otherwise even a normal person would get bored or not be consistent at providing those services. One of the nice things about computing and robotics, they don't get tired. They just are able to continue regardless.
Yeah.
They don't go on strike. They don't, and so on and so on.
So getting back to Jodah's, I think what the heart of Jodah's question is around trust, right? And trust in technology. And we kind of, before we had started this interview we talked yesterday, George, about Sam Bankman-Fried, who's probably the hobgoblin of the Web 3.0 space, public enemy number one. And I'm sure there are probably a lot of people resent him for what he did and the bad publicity he's brought to the crypto and blockchain space. So what are your thoughts on Sam Bankman-Fried and what he's done to trust in this space?
Well, I personally directly don't have any comments about him other than he was a guy amplify their gains, if you want, for lack of a better term. So it means technology and automation allows things to just move faster. And
Right.
to some extent, I think as much as he was a bad guy, the people that gave him the money, those were even as bad people because they did not do their job. They were supposed to do diligence. While he was playing video games, people were throwing millions of dollars at him. What
And
about
taking
asking the
money
right
from
questions?
him, right? And taking
Yeah,
the
both.
Democratic Party was taking a lot of money from him.
So it works both ways. Now, there's a few interesting things about this case, and I think we learned a lot from it. One of the things was actually the power of blockchain. If this collapse that happened with FTX would have been in a traditional banking system like you did before there with the Goldman Sachs and all the other
Right.
previous cases, you would have no idea what's going on. Because this was done on blockchain, the transactions were there for everybody to see. So you actually see where the money went, where the money go. You could not hide that. So it provided the bad stuff, but the bad stuff on live TV. A bit like when they have these shows on TV where the people film what they're doing at home. I don't know what you call this, but the live shows where Brother and so on, where they're
Reality
filming
TV shows, yeah.
reality. So this was a reality TV show. So we saw the collapse of FTX as a reality TV show. And that reality TV show was possible because of blockchain.
But all that was going on and nobody was looking, though. It wasn't until after the crash that somebody went back and said, how did this happen? And then said, oh, he was moving that money over to the other corporation and who was spending it, spending other people's money. So there is an accountability, like it can be as transparent as you want, but if nobody's looking and monitoring it, then you're still in danger, right?
Dan, I want to add to something though. I mean, can you clarify what your point is on that? Because fiat money has that problem all the time.
You found out after the fact, right? It wasn't like people knew in advance, like, oh, we're monitoring these transactions in the blockchain to see.
Yeah,
that.
But is that a problem of blockchain or just the financial industry in general? Because fiat money, that happened in the 2000 crash, that happened in the 2008
I'm just saying
crash.
The promise of blockchain is you have increased accountability because you have increased transparency.
True. Good
I'm going to argue that that's not necessarily the case unless you have somebody who's actually paying attention to those transactions.
Okay, is there a promise of accountability? That's the question.
See, and actually, that is the important aspect. Technology can create trust, but it cannot build trustable people. I always have this approach to people that I call trust and verify. Unfortunately, people get corrupted by money for whatever reason. And I think money has been the evil as much as it's the satisfaction. So that means every time there is money, there is always going to be trouble. So that really means you need to have the mechanisms in place to verify each time things are going on. And it's technology by itself will actually not solve this problem. And this is actually true. If we go back almost 10 years, there was a big hack about the traditional banks in which they went down New York streets and they were emptying the ATM machines. It was the same thing. They hacked properly the banks and they were able to steal close to $55 or $50 million. Of course, they catch some of the guys, but never the original guys. But one thing was important. The screen was flashing red. Something is wrong. Nobody was looking at the screen.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah. Like if you don't have anyone who's monitoring the screen, who's not monitoring that red flashing light that's going off, then
all right. So let's go double down on Dan's question though. The essence of that Dan, you suggested there's a promise of the ability to thwart these issues with this technology. First, George, is that true? Is there a promise being made? And if there is a promise being made, can you clarify how it can prevent these things from happening, from regulatory capture, from greed, from, is it going to distribute? I mean,
Sam Bankman-Fried, that's also, I would also argue, is the cult of youth in the United States, right? And that, here's this young savior who's saying all the right things, and people bought into his BS. And so that nobody, maybe because of that, also nobody wanted to look.
But they bought into Enron, and there's no youth there. But yes, there is a cult.
Nobody bought into Enron. Enron was just a separate company. This guy was a cult of personality.
See, people in many parts of the world want to be associated with success. So when there is the appearance of success, people somehow overlook their traditional job. Their traditional job might be to do certain steps. So they're willing to skip the steps because it just looks too good.
Right.
And in reality, you cannot do that. You have to. So there's a certain amount of discipline that needs to be applied to actually achieve proper trustable. Not just because it says on the screen that it's trust, that it actually needs to be trusted. So if the data that entered was incorrect, that means you completely lose that trust. So that means you need to keep always trust, validate, and you need to keep a balance between those two.
Who's validating though? The robot that we're talking about, or the human, or what's this validation process?
That is a good point. Actually, I think that validation always needs to be an external party. It can never be a party that has a direct implication in the original transaction, because as soon as the party that validates is also operating in that transaction, the chance of it being partial is almost zero. And that is the most difficult part. That's why, for example, in if you're going to call nuclear systems, when the guy that launches the rocket, that's why there is two keys, and the two keys is operated by two guys that don't know each other and they're far apart, so that one guy is not making that decision. So this is the same thing in the real world. You need to have another party that is not related to the process of the transaction, that can actually provide an unbiased validation of what actually going on. And if we don't do that, technology just amplifies the problem and speeds it up. So with this new technology of robotics, AI, faster storage, faster telecommunication, the problems that we've had in the past, the next one will be even bigger than the current one, guaranteed.
So we couldn't trust people before with their money. And now we can't even really even trust the algorithms because of the extremes. So now we've compounded the issue. Is there a place where it actually gets better for us? Or is this a world that we're just going to have to live with, that we are now sort of at the whim of power and algorithms?
Well, I think this is the world that we must live in. And in this world that we live in, we have to understand that there is kind of three types of people. There is very honest people, and the guy who finds the $100 on the floor will go and return it. There is very bad people. They found the money first, and they say it's mine and nobody else's.
Or they just take it out of your back pocket.
Correct, same. But guess the most important part is the 80%. And these 80% are pure wager people. If nobody is looking, they grab it and say, oh, it's mine. Maybe. But if somebody is looking, they become honest all of a sudden. So the thing is,
it's like quantum physics, quantum value system.
So you have to use technology to actually make people honest, or the bulk of the people, and it works.
Interesting.
Schrodinger's values.
Schrodinger's values. Are they a thief or not?
George, I know we're coming to the end of today's episode. One thing we asked our previous guest that I'd like to ask you too is, what does the future hold? What do you see? As we've talked about AI, we've talked about blockchain, crypto, internet security, talked about a lot of things, and some of it's just where we're at. Some of it can be a little bit scary to people. So, and what do you see? Where do you see us heading in the future? And don't be afraid to scare me. I like having nightmares at night.
We're close to Halloween.
We're close
anyways.
to Halloween, so you can terrify us.
Horror.
Well, I'm going to joke a little bit, but in a serious way. Maybe we're all in a simulation after all. But okay, I'm not one of those guys, but maybe. You never know.
Guess it depends on how you define simulation.
Yes, it's just a bunch of pixels. At the end of the day, I do believe that technology will continue to evolve faster and faster at each iteration. And like any technology that we have seen in the past, technology can always be used for two purposes, good or bad. It is the human or the persons like you and me in front of everybody who's going to decide what that technology is actually used for. And I do believe that technology needs to be there to serve the people, but not the other way around. And as soon as we introduce that element, the conscientious element into technology, then we can force technology to behave a little bit better. But the only thing I can guarantee for you is that the levels of acceleration that are happening in technology will continue to be faster, bigger, and more exponential, because it will enable us to create things that we just thought were not even possible or unmanageable. So I think we're just getting started. I mean, I've been in technology now for 36 years, and it's just, I feel like this mouse and this little wheel, no matter how much I run more, the wheel just keeps moving faster and faster. And it will, it's not about to stop. I'll give you even an example. Originally we had this thing called the Moore's law, which means every 2 years the computing power doubles. Now, of course, we ran out of things to slice, so that means the Moore's law was technically, it's not forever. But all of a sudden, this little AI came and says, no, forget Moore's law. Now we have AI law. That kind of adds another level.
Kurzweil has his own law around this, right? That kind of builds off.
What is that, Dan? What is that? What's that law?
It's another law of exponential growth and technology over time.
And that's where we're going through. But it's not a straight line. It's a series of waves. And these waves allow us to mature, to absorb the technology, because one of the things, technology can move fast, but people move slow. And what I mean by people move slow, people sometimes don't trust technology, and getting that adoption factor takes time. And that's why I mentioned the most important element of technology is the usability factor. So if technology is simple and easy to use, that the grandmother can use, then the technology will boom much faster than the previous one.
George, you're an adventurer, right? Functionally speaking. I mean, you go out and this is an exciting environment for you. You live for these ebbs and flows. You see opportunity where other people see probably scary events. But going back to Tom, Dick, and Sally, and me, I will say, based upon what you just said, what kind of advice could you give the average person to think about how to handle or to approach these technologies as they come at us? Can you give any salient advice to the average person in the United States or in the European Union or in China? How to consume this crazy stuff that's coming at them?
I think the best way to consume technology is to embrace it, number one. Number two is to test it. And then to feedback what you expect technology to become the next release. Because the way technology is evolving, it's using that feedback loop, and these feedback loops are getting faster and faster to improve the next release. So if you're not providing that feedback, then you're leaving that to chance, and somebody else is shaping the future for you. But if you get implicated in the evolution of technology, you're helping shape that future. So rather than to stay separated from technologies, try it out. The things that you like, contribute to them, and help shape it by saying, no, I don't like this one, or be active in the usage of technology. Just don't be, a bystander. Because if you're just a bystander, technology will continue, but it will continue maybe the way you don't like it. So if you don't contribute to it, it will just happen.
And then we'll get to the point where we reach Kurzweil's singularity and we'll just merge with the machines.
Well, no, I do believe that the machine is becoming an extension of what we do. I don't think maybe the merging will necessarily ever happen. Maybe it will. But at least the concept of what we call the cyborg is already possible today. And that cyborg is more of a software cyborg rather than a hardware one, but it's
a cyborg with this.
That is correct. You're becoming a more extendable individual with superpowers that you did not have before. So with that comes responsibility.
With
like
great
Spider-Man.
power comes great responsibility.
That is correct.
Awesome.
I'll give you an example. This is a very interesting one, but it's a simple one. When cars, I always like the analogy of a car because everybody kind of understands it. When cars were first created, people drive around even without seatbelts. But because the cars drive relatively slow, nobody really gets too much injured. As cars go faster and faster and more complex, cars had seatbelts, then ABS, traction control, airbags, and so on, and even collision avoidance systems. The modern car today, being Tesla and equivalent, has got even a complete navigation system. But guess what? Even with those cars, you can actually hurt yourself or hurt somebody about you. That really means if you use technology properly, you actually reduce the risk and everything comes better. If you use technology in an irresponsible way, you actually cause damage for everybody. So that's what I mean. With technology comes responsibility, because at the end of the day, no matter how best and how fast technology is, all technology still has limitations. And as much we understand these limitations, then we operate within those. And then technology serves us. When we push it beyond its limitations, then technology causes trouble, and lots of trouble.
Wow.
Interesting. Cool. Well, Dan, I think we're coming to the close. Do you have any final thoughts or questions you want to ask?
No. George, it was wonderful to meet you on this episode and get to know you a little bit better. And thank you for your time. And how can people find you if they want to reach out to you? I know you have a LinkedIn profile and stuff like that.
It's very easy. I mean, my LinkedIn profile is my last name, just Sebastião. My Twitter is the number 4 and George, and I guess most of the social media uses the number 4 and the first name, so 4 George. So you can find me on most social media using those letters. But of course, you need to know that George is actually spelled with a J and not a G. But if you manage to do that, then I'm usually quite accessible. I am not too much of an email guy. I have, 37,000 unread emails. But if you beat me, I will try to reply as much as possible.
That's
great.
Interesting. Yeah.
Well, thanks, George.
Thanks, George. Appreciate it, man.
It's a pleasure to be here, and you have a great show, and it was a pleasure and actually an honor to be here. And if this helps somebody, it's always great to do something for good.
Yeah, we hope so.
Yeah.
And if you know anybody who'd like to come on our show, reach out and let us know. And I'm sure you've met a lot of interesting people in there who'd like to probably share some of their thoughts.
I will send a few people your way. That's the nice thing about the world. It's full of these crazy people that actually are trying to contribute something for good.
We'd love to speak to them. So, all right. Well, thank you very much. And everybody, thank you for joining Hashdown Spotlight sessions here with Jorge Sebastião. And we will see you next week. Coming up next will be Philip. And I think he should be coming on in a second here. And there he is. Philip, good to see you. Don't hear you. You're on mute or something's going on.
I'm here. Yep. Can you hear me now?
We got you.
Okay, cool. I was listening in. That was really interesting. I liked the part about the it's a great power comes great responsibility part when you were talking about the
Spider-Man.
Cyber what was it, cyborg part. That was interesting. I didn't expect to hear that word today, but
no, that's what Dan and I do. We extract words that no one expects to hear.
It was a really good conversation.
Thanks,
Definitely.
appreciate it. So, all right, well,
what are you going to be talking about today?
Yep.
So, crypto news. Awesome. Probably a lot about Sam Bankman-Fried's court case, because that's going into its fourth day. So we'll see what we talk about with that, because I haven't actually read all of this yet. So I get to find out what's going on at the same time as everybody else.
Awesome.
It's quite fun that way, actually. Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Well, thanks, Philip. Thanks for hosting, and good luck with your show today.
Yep.
Thanks.
We'll
see you guys next Friday, I guess.
Yep.
Right?
See you next week.
Next Friday.
Nice.
See you then.
All right.
See ya.
Bye, people. Bye, Philip.
All right. So, what do you guys think of that? There's a pretty interesting discussion from what I could tell on my end. All right, trying to grab the news here so you guys can see it. There we go. And let's go to this. There. All right. So I don't need this on. I am going to jump through chat and see what's going on in there. Oh, wow. A lot of you guys jumped in. All 1,300 of you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining in and listening to Spotlight with Jorge Sebastião, Jodah, Jensen, and Dan. Hi, Bukovs. Trophic L407080. Anonymous user 59A03. Anonymous user 1D355. Binance user A6427. Felix XX Files. Binance user DCF8E. Hi, Ahmed Draza 110. Hacker MJ user 8A46F. Sadine 274. A000, a bunch of zeros, 6. Nice to have you with us. I wonder where you're from. You said BD? This guy said he's from LK. CA. CA is Canada. It's nice to have you guys with us. IN, I know that's India. Wow. I'm glad you guys are having a good time in the comments. I'm just scrolling down the comments right now to see what all is going on in here. Hi, Aisha, 1992. Hi, Binance user EF4E3. Hi, 772, 628, 332. Assalamu alaikum. Hi, Mahdich Vital DE. Hi, Sanusi AC user E1E53. You're welcome. We enjoy explaining things to people so that they can do better in the crypto world. Sure. Hi, Amonat Oleganishe 1977. Binance user D9EAB. Nice to have you with us. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. All right, let's check out the news then. There's an arrest warrant issued for Gubin in high-profile BTC case. Moscow's leading court has acted decisively in a major bribery case involving 2,718 BTC, valued at $74,457,707. Dmitry Gubin, a former top investigator for the Tverskoy district, is now the primary focus of this investigation. Serious charges have been levied against Gubin, including receiving large-scale bribes and abusing official powers. Wow. So he's accused under Part 6 of Article 290 of the Russian Criminal Code, which deals with receiving large-scale bribes. He faces accusations under Part 1 of Article 286, which pertains to the abuse of official powers. So this has to do with actual corruption in Moscow using crypto. And Bitcoin in this case. Gubin isn't the only figure embroiled in this controversy. Kristina Lekovenko, once under Gubin's supervision, was arrested in September over her alleged involvement. Moreover, Marat Tambiev, the former head of the investigative department of the Tverskoy District Committee, has been in pretrial detention since 2022. Investigators suggest that these individuals formed a criminal group. Their primary modus operandi, accepting bribes from those involved in various criminal cases. The most significant of these bribes was a transfer of 2,718.6 BTC in December 2021. This transaction, believed to be from the hacker group In Fraud Organization, was allegedly to prevent the seizure of their assets. In Fraud Organization. How is that not a fraudulent organization? That is hilarious. Okay. In a related development, a Moscow court seized 1,032.1 BTC from Tambiev in July, declaring the asset state income. Interestingly, Tambiev's computer revealed access codes to 2 cryptocurrency accounts. These were found in a folder humorously named Pension. The remaining cryptocurrency is suspected to be with Lekovenko and Gubin. Additionally, claims are that the accused deliberately hid information about 5,212.9 BTC in the hackers' wallets. They allegedly created inspection reports that falsely declared these wallets empty of cryptocurrency. State Attorney Vadim Bagaturia, who has also highlighted another concern, there's a mysterious absence of 654 Bitcoin from the entire bribery case. He pointed out discrepancies in handwritten notes on Tambiev's computer, casting doubt on the evidence's authenticity. So maybe the inspectors that caught these inspectors are also stealing Bitcoin somewhere along the way, and there's more corruption to be found. That's the only thing I can think of that would make sense. This story is crazy. I'm glad we got a chance to look into that in a little bit more detail. That was fun. SBF's fate lies in the hands of these 12 jurors. Let's take a look at the jurors. A female-dominated juror cluster of 12, 9 women and 3 men, has been selected to make a verdict on SBF, the fallen crypto hero, as his defense team would like to brand him. SBF's trial is expected to run for 6 weeks. The financial world is watching, and the crypto community anxiously waits to see if his Washington, D.C. connections will interfere with justice. Sam's defense team argues that he did not steal from anyone. So, on Wednesday morning, jury selection for the trial of disgraced crypto kingpin Sam Bankman-Fried came to a close. Reportedly, a pregnant physician's assistant, a train conductor, and a retired investment banker are among the 12 individuals who will ultimately determine Sam Bankman-Fried's fate. On October 4th, the second day of the trial in Manhattan, 12 jurors were selected from a selection of 45. Additionally, there are 6 substitute jurors. The potential jurors were each given a minute to introduce themselves by discussing their background, age, employment, education, relationship history, and children. So who made the cut? The 12 jurors consist of 9 women and 3 men between the ages of 33 and 69 with the following backgrounds. Names withheld for privacy reasons. A 39-year-old female physician assistant, 10 weeks pregnant, with a background in medicine and a web developer's spouse. A nurse of 33 years old who lives alone in Westchester, New York. A social worker in her 40s who is currently unemployed. A 53-year-old divorced full-time stay-at-home mother of 2 children with a background in nonprofit fundraising administration and is a graduate of Duke University. A 59-year-old married man with 3 children, one of whom is a bank employee. A 50-year-old woman who sells tickets at the Metro North Station and is the mother of 5 children, 3 of whom reside at home and 2 of whom attend college. A single 47-year-old high school librarian lives with her cat, sister, and ailing mother. These sound like characters in a movie or something. A 61-year-old unmarried postal service employee with no children. A 55-year-old female special education instructor from Bermuda with a bachelor's degree from the University of Waterloo and 2 master's degrees from New York University and Seton Hall. A 69-year-old male investment executive from Hong Kong who attended Rice University and Stanford University was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma after being married and childless. A 43-year-old Ukrainian woman with 2 children residing in the United States for 15 years and working in IT at Bloomberg. What? That is a very kind of diverse set of skills and backgrounds. Hi, Benzal Boy and Binance user 86D96. Nice to have you with us. So, is there any legal progress? The creator of FTX came in court with newly cropped hair, dressed in a gray suit and patterned tie. SBF sat in front of a laptop for most of the session, looking through court documents. Even when glancing over his shoulder at prospective jurors or speaking with the 4 solicitors seated by his side, SBF maintained his hands on the laptop. District Court Judge Louis A. Kaplan then met with prosecutors and Bankman-Fried's defense attorneys to discuss jury selection before announcing the final 12 jury members about 15 minutes later. Following the selection of the jury members, the prosecutor and defense had a 15-minute opening statement. Afterward, Judge Kaplan heard testimony from Mark Juilliard, a cocoa broker who lost around $80,000 to FTX, Adam Yedidia, Bankman-Fried's former close friend, and I believe there was somebody else. Anyhow, SBF's criminal trial is likely to last 6 weeks. He is facing 7 fraud-related charges for his role as CEO in FTX's November bankruptcy. SBF did not steal billions from his own clients because he had good faith that a trading firm he controlled could use funds deposited with his cryptocurrency exchange. This was the argument made by Bankman-Fried's defense attorney as the criminal trial of the 31-year-old crypto entrepreneur began with opening statements on Wednesday. Sam didn't defraud anyone. Sam didn't intend to defraud anyone. There was no theft. Sam and others made hundreds of decisions a day. Some things were overlooked. That's from Mark Cohen, Bankman-Fried's defense attorney. The defense strategy that emerged in the Manhattan courtroom on Wednesday was to portray the fallen crypto star as a math nerd who did his best to guide a rapidly expanding startup through a chaotic period in the crypto markets, making decisions on the run. I have to say, I think that's a very lousy defense. After studying law, I would never use that defense. I don't know. Maybe that's the only one they have. Former Ubisoft employees arrested amid sexual misconduct allegations. Oh boy. What this time? Former employees of Ubisoft have been arrested in connection to sexual misconduct allegations, work culture in the gaming industry. Police take 3 former Ubisoft employees into custody. Among those questioned by French police were the former chief creative officer Serge Escouet, who left the studio in 2020, and former editorial vice president Tommy Francois. Tommy Francois faced allegations of sexual harassment and assault during his tenure at the firm. They don't even work there anymore. Shockingly, it's reported that victims of such incidents were advised by the company's human resources department to either accept the behavior as a part of the work environment or leave the company. The allegations against Francois date back to 2015 when he was accused of forcibly attempting to kiss an employee during a company event. The victim's distress and subsequent departure were dismissed by Ubisoft representatives who allegedly considered the incident to be humorous and common. Serge Escouet, in his role as a high-ranking executive, has been accused of knowingly allowing such behavior to persist at Ubisoft. In 2020, a French outlet reported that he was even admired by some within the studio for alleged misogyny, homophobia, and a toxic management style. My kid yelling at me. What's up? Hey. French authorities have reportedly interviewed approximately 50 current and former Ubisoft employees as part of their inquiry into the game studio. Ubisoft, like Blizzard, has faced criticism for fostering a boys' club culture. A lawyer representing the plaintiffs in this case, which includes the French game workers union Solidaire Informatique, and 2 individuals who reported harassment, described Ubisoft as having a schoolboy atmosphere. So, I know this union. Solidaire is a anarcho-communist union that hates people. Like, I think that's the easiest way I can explain it. Like, as a union, whether it's their student union or whether it's their union for the trains or for computer science, they just hate people. It's crazy. It's insane. Like, I don't know how to explain this better. When I went to university, they refused to run on the ballot for union and for the unions that represent the students in France. And then they stole the boxes of votes and set them on fire because they refused the results because they weren't on the ballot, but they refused to be on the ballot. So it was entirely their fault. So this is kind of the so this union I give no credibility to whatsoever. They're almost a terrorist organization. And I'm pretty sure even if they took me to court, they would lose on that. That's not defamation. They have tried to derail trains. They have closed down universities and locked them up. They've beaten people. They've broken into companies. Like Solidaire is a horrible organization. Anyhow, that aside, I'm really hoping there is no actual harassment and somebody just took something the wrong way. But Libération reported this, and although they are a communist newspaper from way back during World War II, they tend to be a lot more truthful than Solidaire, than the union that is talked about here. So that's interesting. Like I've known Libération as well. Sometimes they're really on the, like most newspapers that are trying to do their job right. Sometimes they get things wrong because they're trying to, sell their paper. But most of the time, they're pretty on point. They do tend to, try to make things about, for example, this talks a lot about misogyny and homophobia and that sort of thing. They do try to make things all about that, even when they aren't. So there may be a little bit of extra added into this. There's also a problem with French culture when it comes to men and women interacting, which I've seen in the workplace, and it's not fun. So it could have something to do with that. All right, Stars Arena records massive success on the Avalanche network. Stars Arena experiences a remarkable surge in transactions on Avalanche, the budding rivalry in the social platform scene. Since its launch in late September, Stars Arena, previously known as StarShares, has emerged as a significant player on the Avalanche network, experiencing a remarkable surge in transactions. According to data from DappRadar, the Stars Arena platform recorded an astonishing 215,000 transactions on a recent Monday, marking a substantial increase from the 16,000 daily transactions observed at the end of September. Notably, the transaction volume on the Stars Arena platform has also seen exponential growth, surpassing $1.7 million on that same Monday. So Stars Arena boasts over 14,000 active connected wallets. It's a lot of movement. Friend.tech boasts a staggering 7.25 million monthly transactions and a weekly volume of 33.4 million. In comparison, the platform reports 691.8 thousand monthly transactions and a weekly volume of $6.4 million. The growing enthusiasm surrounding the platform has also had a positive ripple effect on the AVAX token, which is the Avalanche token. Its value surged from $9.21 on Tuesday to its current trading price of $10.08, according to CoinMarketCap, which we'll look at later. By the way, thanks Sanusi AC user E1E53 for saying blessings on my family. That's cool. And hi, also Binance user 6B72D. Nice to have you with us. Okay. SBF's $2 multi-million-dollar jets subject to justice. I actually really like planes, so let's see. What are these? The United States Department of Justice files a forfeiture claim for $2 multi-million-dollar luxury jets owned by SBF. The two private jets include a Bombardier Global, originally purchased for $15.9 million, and an Embraer Legacy, originally purchased by IAC for $12.5 million. SBF is on trial. His trial began on October 3rd with jury selection, and the prosecution and defense presented their opening statements on October 4th. Today's the 6th. By the way, welcome to the show. It's the 6th of October, 2023. It's great to have you with us. So, yeah, they're taking his jets. And actually, those are really good jets. Embraer are based out of Brazil, and Bombardier are based out of Canada. and they make really nice jets. Jets are expensive, so I'm not sure I'd ever want one, but they do make some nice jets. Google Cloud executive discusses the potential of ZK proofs in financial services. Google Cloud's head of Web3, James Tromans, has highlighted the importance of ZK proofs in financial services, the importance of ZK proofs in every economic sector. I can barely read this. In a recent speech at CCDAS 2023, James Tromans, Google Cloud's head of Web3 engineering, highlighted the growing significance of on-chain privacy preserving technologies such as zero-knowledge proofs, or ZK proofs, and their diverse applications in financial services, healthcare, and beyond. Zero-knowledge proofs, a cryptographic technique, have gained prominence as a powerful means to demonstrate knowledge of something without revealing the actual information. Google Cloud executive discusses privacy in Web3. So the Google Cloud executive emphasized the crucial role of ZK proofs in enhancing privacy within the emerging Web3 ecosystem. The approach aligns with the evolving landscape of decentralized finance and the broader Web3 movement, where privacy and security are paramount. Furthermore, the Google Cloud executive referenced a recent paper co-authored by Ethereum co-founder Vitalik Buterin, which explores the integration of ZK proofs into a privacy-preserving blockchain protocol, which is not surprising. ZK proofs and ZK snarks and a lot of other things that had to do with zero knowledge were very much discussed at the Ethereum Developers Conference this year, which was not far from where I live. So I actually went to that. It was great to see what was going on. So Ethereum is very much about ZK proof, ZK snarks, and that sort of thing. So it's interesting to see Google Cloud talking about it. The Google Cloud executive also asserted that the investment flowing into Web3 technologies initially associated with blockchain and now encompassing artificial intelligence will yield valuable solutions beyond token speculation. Among these technologies, ZK proofs and multi-party computation stand out as versatile tools with applications that transcend the blockchain domain. Yeah, we can use them for all kinds of things. It's pretty cool. Hi, ID 7465060608. Nice to have you with us. And yeah, Rana Usman 321. Nice to have you with us as well. All right, let's go check out the next page of news. See what's going on. Doge meme icon to receive honorary statue in Japan. Kabusu, the dog behind the Dogecoin meme, will have a statue unveiled in Japan on November 2nd, funded by the Pleasure DAO NFT community. The statue will be placed in Sakura Furusato Square, a significant location for Kabusu's owners, and a live event will commemorate the occasion. In a heartwarming tribute to the beloved canine that inspired the iconic Dogecoin meme, a community of NFT enthusiasts has unveiled plans to erect a statue. That's hilarious. The adorable Shiba Inu behind the viral Dogecoin meme captured the hearts of millions with her endearing expression and became the face of the popular cryptocurrency. This heartwarming initiative will see the statue unveiled on Kobasu's birthday, November 2nd, in a touching celebration of her legacy. That's hilarious. So Pleasure DAO is the custodian of the original Doge meme NFT. That's interesting as well. So they actually own the rights to it, to the image. They're making a statue out of it. That's not what I would have expected. The statue, which was funded by the NFT community, will find its permanent home. Wow. That's crazy. Attendees will have the unique opportunity to meet Atsuko Sato, Kabusu's owner, and receive exclusive benefits based on their NFT holdings, creating a memorable experience for fans and crypto enthusiasts alike. Wow. That's some funny news right there. I didn't expect to talk about that today. Former FTX developer testifies on $8 billion crypto exchange deficit in SBF trial. Former FTX developer testifies on, that's Adam Yedidia, by the way, on the $8 billion crypto exchange deficit in SBS trial. He reveals FTX's code bug and claims Alameda used customer deposits to pay loans. Bankman-Fried instructed the use of Signal for discrete communication and discussed personal relationships. So let's see. Assistant U.S. Attorney Daniel Sassoon led the questioning, during which Yedidia revealed that he had informed Bankman-Fried about a bug in FTX's code that resulted in Alameda's liabilities not decreasing, leading to the massive $8 billion error. Yedidia also disclosed that his decision to resign from FTX was prompted by the revelation that Alameda had used customer deposits to pay its loans. Yedidia stated that Bankman-Fried had instructed him, along with the entire company, to use the messaging app Signal for discussions related to FTX's code. This move was aimed at maintaining a level of discretion, as Signal offers an auto-delete feature for messages. According to Yedidia, SBF emphasized that retaining potentially incriminating messages could be detrimental to the company if regulators ever uncovered them. Interestingly, Yedidia recounted an encounter with Bankman-Fried near a paddle tennis court in the Bahamas, where he confronted SBF about the $8 billion deficit. Bankman-Fried reportedly attempted to reassure his former roommate about the situation, indicating the seriousness of the matter. Assistant U.S. Attorney Sassoon also delved into Bankman-Fried's personal life, questioning Yedidia about his knowledge of SBF's relationship with former Alameda Research CEO Caroline Ellison. Yedidia stated that SBF had informed him that he and Ellison had engaged in a sexual relationship, and had even asked for his opinion on whether they should date. Yedidia responded with a negative view on the matter. Caroline Ellison is expected to testify against Bankman-Fried as part of a plea agreement with prosecutors. The trial, presided over by Judge Louis Kaplan, made headlines in August when SBF's bail was revoked following allegations of witness intimidation. The prosecution argued that Bankman-Fried had revealed some of Ellison's personal journals to New York Times reporters, which raised concerns about witness interference. The trial, which commenced on October 3rd with jury selection, is anticipated to extend through November. Upcoming witnesses include Gary Wang, one of the co-founders of FTX, as well as former FTX engineering director Nishad Singh and former FTX chief operating officer Constance Wang. So we should expect a lot there. Catching up with SBF's trial, has he been lying the whole time? Question mark. SBF's college friend Adam Yedidia testified that in June 2022, he expressed concern to Sam about the financial state of FTX and Alameda, essentially asking if the companies were okay. A liability of $8 billion from Alameda to FTX was at the center of prosecutors' cross-examination of Adam Yedidia on October 5th. He was also one of 10 people to live in Bankman-Fried's $35 million luxury resort in the Bahamas. According to Yedidia's testimony, FTX has used an Alameda account labeled North Dimension to deposit user funds since early 2021 due to its inability to establish its own bank account. Whoa, that's okay. Yedidia resigned in November 2022 upon learning that Alameda was not only holding the funds but using them to pay its debtors. Wow. Yeah, so we've talked about that twice. Fairblock raises $2.5 million to revolutionize blockchain privacy with conditional encryption. Fairblock raises to develop conditional encryption, enabling fully private blockchain transactions. Their technology aims to level the playing field, reduce risks, and enhance security for all crypto users with plans for broader blockchain ecosystem integration. Okay, let's see. So that's $2.5 million in pre-seed funding from a consortium of prominent investors. The company aims to introduce conditional encryption to blockchain technology. Unlike traditional zero-knowledge technology, Fairblock's innovative solution allows users to execute transactions on the blockchain without revealing any on-chain information until specific conditions are met. This pioneering initiative leverages advanced cryptographic techniques, including identity-based encryption and witness encryption, with plans to explore fully homomorphic encryption to enhance computations on fully encrypted data. That sounds interesting. Fairblock's co-founder Payman Momeni emphasized the company's mission to empower crypto users by reducing risks associated with front-running and transaction data leaks. These issues have historically favored individuals with advanced financial knowledge or development experience. Seeks to make it available to everyone, basically. Fairbox's technological innovation is not confined to the Cosmos ecosystem alone. Many clarify that Fairblock's role extends beyond Cosmos, comparing it to entities like XLR or oracles that provide decryption keys to consumer chains. This broader scope allows Fairblock to include transactions from various chains, such as rollups or smart contracts, and send them to platforms like Ethereum, enhancing interoperability and expanding the potential applications of its privacy-focused technology. So from a tech point of view, that seems quite complicated and quite interesting. I saw somebody say hi. Hello, ZR Exchange BD. Thanks, Sanusi, AC user E1E53. Hong Kong Stock Exchange launches Synapse, a game changer in settlement technology. So the Hong Kong Stock Exchange, HKEX, or HKEX, has unveiled Synapse, a revolutionary settlement platform that leverages smart contracts and blockchain to enhance efficiency and transparency in financial transactions. Synapse benefits market participants, particularly those in the northbound Stock Connect, and underscores HKEX's, the Hong Kong Stock Exchange's, a commitment to digital transformation in the financial industry. So the Hong Kong Stock Exchange's Synapse distinguishes itself by integrating smart contracts facilitated by the use of digital asset modeling language, DAML, a specialized programming language introduced by Digital Asset in 2016, and is tailored to standardize and streamline post-trade procedures. The adoption of DAML for smart contracts represents a pivotal moment in the exchange's history. This innovative approach is set to empower clearing agencies like the Hong Kong Stock Exchange to revamp their settlement processes comprehensively. Smart contracts executed through DAML bring automation to critical aspects of the exchange's operations, reducing risks and increasing efficiency and transparency. This transformation extends benefits to asset managers, brokers, custodians, and clearing participants. One of the core advantages of Synapse is its ability to facilitate real-time data synchronization, enabling the efficient handling of higher trade volumes. As per the Hong Kong Stock Exchange's statement, this technology-driven platform has the potential to not only enhance post-trade efficiencies, but also foster a more robust ecosystem that supports both market and investor growth strategies. Interesting. By the way, just a small aside, you see this ad down here at the bottom. You can actually contact me to have your ads on cryptopolitan.com. So feel free to do that if you're interested. That's just an aside note. Ledger cuts 12% of staff due to macroeconomic headwinds. CEO cites market challenges. Ledger. I didn't expect that. Ledger, a prominent crypto hardware wallet company, is reducing its workforce by 12% due to economic challenges, including the 2022 bear market. This staff cut is part of a broader trend in the cryptocurrency industry, with companies like Binance.us, Nansen, Coinbase, Huobi, and Crypto.com also announcing layoffs. That's interesting. I know some companies that are hiring because they're expecting the bull market to start soon. But I guess Ledger isn't one of the ones that expects to be able to finance that. Just 7 months ago, the company secured over $109 million in a funding round, resulting in a valuation of $1.4 billion. This remarkable feat hinted at a promising future for Ledger, which was expanding its services and even integrated its live software with PayPal, enabling US residents to purchase cryptocurrencies conveniently. However, despite these positive developments, Ledger is now facing a significant setback in the form of a 12% reduction in its workforce. This move comes as a surprise to many, considering the recent success and valuation of the company. The decision reflects the challenges posed by the broader economic landscape and the crypto market's unpredictability. They might be reorganizing to have a lower cost of doing business. In an official blog post dated October 5th, CEO Pascal Gauthier shared insights into the reasons behind this unfortunate staff cut. He emphasized the necessity of these measures for the longevity of the business. Gauthier pointed to the 2022 bear market, during which cryptocurrency prices experienced a sharp decline, as one of the key factors impacting Ledger's operations. Additionally, the CEO highlighted the struggles faced by other crypto firms such as FTX and Voyager Digital as contributing to the decision. Are they based in France? Just a second. That sent me the same Ledger.com. Doing some quick sleuthing here. Let's see. Yeah, they're based out of Paris. Okay. So yeah, I would also fire a lot of people if I was based in Paris and I was a crypto company, even if I just raised a lot of money. So something most people don't understand about the French economy is that if you hire somebody, you have to pay twice as much in taxes and social help taxes. So if you hire somebody and you're paying them 2,000 euros a month, you're paying them, 4,000 euros, and you're paying 4,000 euros to the government for them to work for you. So you're paying 6,000 euros a month for that person. So they're probably, I would imagine, laying off people in France so they can hire them somewhere else. That's my guess, because that would be the smart business move. But they are hiring people on their website, and they're hiring them all in Paris, Montpellier, which I know where that is. London, there's one outside of France. They're hiring most of them back in France. So they're reorganizing is what's happening. They're hiring some people. They have a lot of that's interesting. You can be an intern at they're currently looking for 5 interns and 17 permanent contracted employees. I just looked this up out of curiosity. I have to find my spot again. There it is. So, yeah, I'm guessing it has to do with their it just costs too much to have that many employees. Employees are the most expensive thing you can have in France, which is why I left France. I couldn't hire people. Like, if I ever grew my business, I wouldn't be able to survive in France. That's one of the main reasons I left. So ESMA releases the second MiCA consultation paper on crypto assets. Interesting. They did that on October 5th. It covers 307 pages. The regulator seeks feedback on 5 main areas of MiCA, including sustainability indicators for distributed ledgers and disclosure norms. By June 30th, 2024, ESMA plans to release, so that's the European Securities and Markets Authority, plans to release a final report and present draft standards to the European Commission. This released into I really want to go find this and read it. I'm not going to read 307 pages right now, but as someone who likes to know exactly what's going on, oh, they're hiring. Anyhow, if you're looking for work and you're interested in working with a regulator, maybe, and you're a European Union citizen, that might be a good place to work. I don't know. But yeah, I'm more curious about if they have the document in here. Okay, I'll look at this later. But that's interesting to me that they're finally publishing something. I haven't seen much come out of for MiCA yet, so I'm not sure what that's actually going to be. I'm living in Montenegro right now, and they said that they will follow MiCA regulations, and then they started promising all kinds of crazy things that didn't make any sense together. And the the writing process of these laws isn't done yet. So how do we know what it's going to be? Anyhow, politicians. Ripple attorney critiques SEC's case against Coinbase. Stuart Alderoty, Ripple's lawyer, critiques the SEC's case against Coinbase on the X platform. The SEC's definition of investment contracts and its use of the Howey test for digital assets draws criticism. Coinbase asserts it doesn't deal in securities, challenging the SEC's jurisdiction in the lawsuit. That's something that I don't think there's been a decision on that yet. Bitso and Bitstamp receive 107 million XRP from Ripple wallets. Whale Alerts identify significant XRP transfers from Ripple-associated wallets to Bitso and Bitstamp. October 4th and 5th transactions total nearly 107 million XRP, worth over $56 million. The recent XRP transfers might signal increased use of Ripple payments for international transactions. That's one way to look at it. Or they're selling the XRP they had now that it went up from where it was. That's possible too. FTX co-founder makes shocking revelation at SBF's trial. Yes, here we go. Some more FTX stuff. Co-founder Gary Wang has revealed some shocking details at SBF's trial. And what are they? Let's go into it. In recent court testimony, FTX co-founder Gary Wang has made startling allegations of wire fraud against Sam Bankman-Fried and his inner circle. Wang, who has known Bankman-Fried since their high school days, also pleaded guilty and agreed to cooperate with authorities in the ongoing FTX investigation. This revelation has sent shockwaves through the cryptocurrency community. Wang shed light on the operations of Alameda Research, a trading desk founded by Bankman-Fried, and its relationship with FTX. The FTX co-founder stated that Alameda had the privilege of unlimited access to customer deposits on FTX, a crypto exchange closely associated with FTX. This access allowed Alameda to withdraw funds without limitations, and it could even maintain a negative balance. By the time FTX faced its eventual collapse, Alameda had withdrawn a staggering $8 billion from the platform and had drawn a jaw-dropping $65 billion on its line of credit, according to Wang's testimony. What set Alameda apart from other market makers on FTX was the sheer magnitude of its indebtedness. The FTX co-founder noted that most market makers typically had lines of credit in the single or double-digit millions, whereas Alameda's line of credit reached into the billions, illustrating the extent of the financial maneuvers involved. During his testimony, Wang also provided insight into the financial arrangements within FTX. The FTX co-founder disclosed that he received a $200,000 annual salary and held 17% equity in the company. In stark contrast, Sam Bankman-Fried, the co-founder of FTX, owned the lion's share of the company, reportedly around 65%. This significant disparity in ownership stakes raised questions about the power dynamics within the organization. The FTX co-founder testimony further revealed the extent of Bankman-Fried's control and influence over Alameda Research. Bankman-Fried possessed a commanding 90% ownership stake in Alameda Research, leaving Wang with a mere 10%. Despite this imbalance, Wang detailed how he was permitted to withdraw $200,000 from the company for personal use and had access to up to $300 million to invest in other startup ventures. Within the FTX organization, Wang's role appeared to be more focused on coding and technical aspects, while Bankman-Fried handled public-facing responsibilities such as lobbying and media interactions. This division of labor suggested a clear distinction in their roles and responsibilities within the company. Matt Huang, a managing partner at venture capital firm Paradigm, also testified during the proceedings. Huang disclosed that his firm had invested a substantial $278 million in Bankman-Fried's companies. However, he expressed regret over the investment, stating that Paradigm would not have committed such funds if they had been aware of the siphoning of funds to Alameda Research. As a result of these revelations, Paradigm marked down its investment to zero, signaling the severe consequences of these alleged financial irregularities. Huang's testimony also touched on concerns about FTX's governance structure. He mentioned that Paradigm initially had reservations about what he referred to as FTX's unique governance structure. During cross-examination, Huang revealed that Paradigm had sought a seat on FTX's board, a request that was not exclusive to his firm. This suggested that multiple investors had questioned the transparency and decision-making processes within the company. Another issue raised during the proceedings was the practice of front-running, which involves trading on insider information. Hoying disclosed that Paradigm had expressed concerns about this practice. However, he stated that Bankman-Fried assured them that Alameda Research received no preferential treatment on FTX's crypto exchange. The ongoing trial has generated significant attention within the cryptocurrency industry as it raises critical questions about the transparency, governance, and ethical conduct. So, like, just from these few witnesses that we've heard so far, I don't see how the jury won't say he's guilty so far. That there's no reason for them not to. He can't plead ignorance or from these testimonies, and he can't plead. He can't try to use the "I was too busy to care" argument either. Stars Arena denies coordinated FUD rumors as it fixes vulnerabilities. Stars Arena has denied coordinated FUD, so that's as the team moves to fix its platform's vulnerabilities, crypto exploits, and moves to curb the spread. The team behind Stars Arena, a protocol inspired by Friends.tech, found themselves amid controversy recently as they had to address that they referred to as a coordinated FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt campaign. The situation arose following the discovery and subsequent patching of an exploit that allowed attackers to make off with $2,000 from the decentralized social media platform, which operates on the Avalanche blockchain. On October 5th, via their official Twitter account, the Stars Arena team announced that they had successfully fixed the exploit. $2,000 compared to all the other hacks that have been going on in the space is absolutely nothing. In their statement, they emphasized the seriousness of the situation, stating, "Don't get this wrong, we are at war." The incident attracted attention from the crypto community, with some individuals expressing their concerns and criticism. One pseudonymous user, Xerox Lilich, took a jab at Stars Arena, referring to its development team as noob devs. The attacker had identified a vulnerability in the platform's price function, which allowed them to sell tickets with no cost in exchange for Avalanche's native token, AVAX. However, despite the successful exploitation of this vulnerability, it turned out to be economically unviable for the attackers. The exploit inadvertently led to a significant increase in gas fees on the Avalanche network, making it far more expensive for the attackers to cash out their ill-gotten gains than they had anticipated. In essence, the attackers ended up spending more on gas fees than the $2,000 they'd managed to acquire through the exploit. Okay, that's hilarious. I've never heard of gas fees thwarting a hack attack, but now we have. Emin Gunser, the CEO of Avalabs, highlighted this aspect in a post, noting that for every 4 cents earned from the exploit, the attackers had to spend an average of 25 cents in gas fees. This unfavorable cost-to-profit ratio underscored the impracticality of the attack and demonstrated the unexpected consequences that can arise in the world of cryptocurrency exploitation. Despite the relatively ineffective nature of the exploit, members of the cryptocurrency community did not hold back their criticism of the Stars Arena team. So one notable critic, Fubar, that's 2 O's, who is the pseudonymous founder and developer of Delegate, strongly condemned the platform. Fubar went so far as to suggest that Stars Arena should delete your account in Product Clown Show. Stars Arena is just one of the many applications that have emerged in the growing landscape of social finance platforms. This trend includes projects like Alpha on the Bitcoin network, Frenzy on Solana, and Posttech on Arbitrum. Friend.tech, the inspiration behind Stars Arena, continues to lead the market in terms of monthly trading volume, with over $293 million, significantly surpassing the trading volume of the next closest competitor, Posttech, by more than $283 million. The incident involving Stars Arena serves as a reminder of the challenges and risks associated with the rapidly evolving cryptocurrency space. So at least they closed that risk is taken care of now. Yuga Labs make, according to what we read here, Yuga Labs makes strategic investment to push other side project. Okay. Yuga Labs, the creative force behind the immensely popular Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT brand, has just announced a strategic investment in Hadean, a pioneering startup specializing in spatial computing. This partnership aims to further enhance Yuga's forthcoming metaverse, known as Otherside, by harnessing Hadean's cutting-edge technology. Hadean's role in this collaboration is to provide the essential technology required to scale Otherside, enabling it to support a potentially massive number of concurrent players. Earlier this year, Otherside's second trip playtest drew an impressive crowd of over 7,200 simultaneous players, showcasing the high demand for immersive online experiences. While the exact financial details of Yuga Labs' investment remain undisclosed, it has been described as a meaningful contribution in the context of Hadean's previous funding rounds. Hadean recently secured $5 million in funding in March, following a substantial $30 million Series A round in September 2022, which included participation from gaming giant Epic Games, creator of Fortnite. Interesting. I wouldn't have expected them to join in on that, but that's cool. With this new injection of capital, Hadean plans to establish a dedicated team in the United States, working closely with Yuga Labs to focus on achieving mass concurrency. In essence, this means enhancing Otherside's capacity to accommodate a large number of players simultaneously within the same virtual environment. Daniel Allegre, the CEO of Yuga Labs, expressed his excitement about the extended partnership with Hadean, noting that the company is glad to make its commitment through the investment with Hadean. He also mentioned that the firm will continue to push for the development of Otherside and some other entertainment and gaming. This collaboration builds upon the commercial agreement between Yuga Labs and Hadean, which was announced in September. Additionally, Yuga Labs has teamed up with other startups, including Axelbyte, Bad Rhino, and Faraway, all with a shared focus on enriching the Otherside experience. The game also incorporates a technology from the metaverse startup Improbable, underscoring the multifaceted approach to its development. Hadean is often described as a metaverse infrastructure startup with a primary focus on spatial computing. Spatial computing represents the convergence of digital technology with real-world applications, exemplified by Apple's Vision Pro mixed reality headset. Yuga Labs, recognized for its ownership of the iconic Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT collection, has been a major player in the NFT market. In addition to Bored Apes, Yuga Labs also holds the intellectual property rights to CryptoPunks, another influential NFT collection. The startup made headlines when it raised a staggering $450 million in March 2022, achieving a valuation of $4 billion. Wow. Hi, Binance user 8CBC6. You're welcome, Sanusi AC user E1E53. Hi, Qatar Nuas and Wada Nabil. Hello. Nice for having you with us. Thanks for joining. Interesting. Let's see if there's anything that's been published since we started looking at this. That happens sometimes. Oh, wow. 4 articles since we were... UK urged to loosen KYC demands for crypto to attract Web3 firms. That's know your customer demands. In a bid to position itself as a global hub for Web3 technology and crypto innovation, the United Kingdom is being advised by a prominent conservative think tank to reconsider its regulatory approach. Policy Exchange, a respected institution in the UK, has released a report outlining 10 proposals aimed at enhancing the country's Web3 regulatory framework. Among the key recommendations is the relaxation of know your customer requirements for cryptocurrency-related activities, as well as measures to protect individuals involved in decentralized autonomous organizations. This move comes as Web3 firms consider relocating from the United States due to regulatory uncertainties. One of the central recommendations put forth in the Policy Exchange report is the limitation of liabilities for individuals who hold tokens within a decentralized autonomous organization, or DAO. The report points to a recent U.S. ruling that places legal responsibility on any American who owns or previously owned tokens in a DAO for any violations committed by that DAO. By contrast, the UK is urged to adopt a more lenient stance in this regard, potentially attracting Web3 firms and participants seeking a more favorable regulatory environment. That's interesting. We'll see how that goes. ThorSwap takes proactive measures to combat illicit fund movements. Interesting. ThorSwap's move to maintenance mode reflects a commitment to combat illicit fund movements and enhance platform security. Regulatory challenges are forcing DeFi projects like Yield Protocol to shut down operations, highlighting the impact of evolving regulations. The cryptocurrency community's mixed reactions emphasize the ongoing tension between security measures and uninterrupted services in the DeFi sector. ThorSwap, powered by multi-chain ThorChain, has taken decisive action to counter the illicit use of its platform. On October 6th, ThorSwap transitioned to maintenance mode to thwart potential attempts to move illicit funds. Wow. The move follows consultations with advisors, legal counsel, and law enforcement agencies. And if you want more information on this whole thing in detail, go ahead and read this article. It's on cryptopolitan.com. Feel free to check it out. Elon Musk's clash with the SEC and Department of Justice over Twitter sparks calls for regulatory overhaul. Musk accuses the SEC and Department of Justice of abusing regulatory powers for personal and political gain. The SEC sues Musk for failing to testify in Twitter X acquisition investigation. Musk's X platform, popular in the crypto community, adds complexity in the regulatory landscape. So, yeah, let's see. Is there any? So this comes in response to a lawsuit filed by the SEC alleging that Musk failed to testify in their investigation related to his $44 billion acquisition of Twitter, now known as X, in October of the previous year. It took them a year to actually open an investigation. They're wondering if it triggers securities laws. The regulator's latest move involves filing a lawsuit in a California district court to compel Musk to cooperate with an earlier SEC subpoena. In a post on X, Elon Musk didn't hold back, advocating for a comprehensive overhaul of both the SEC and the Department of Justice. He suggested that these agencies, which are tasked with regulatory oversight, should themselves be subjected to investigation. Musk claimed that they have been abusing their regulatory powers for personal and political gain, and there should be punitive actions taken against those individuals who have allegedly abused their regulatory authority. That is possible. That could be a problem. Arkham Intelligence exposed user data on Binance and FTX not as safe as believed. Arkham Intelligence, a crypto intelligence firm, is facing allegations suggesting it exploited vulnerabilities in major cryptocurrency exchanges like Binance and FTX. The firm has been accused of illegally gaining access to and revealing users' personal information. The report also points to broader allegations of securities violations and unethical management practices at Arkham Intelligence. Wow. They're facing allegations from whistleblower platform CryptoLeaks. According to the report, Arkham Intelligence is accused of exploiting vulnerabilities in major cryptocurrency exchanges like Binance and FTX to access and reveal users' personal information. The report revolves around the video testimony of an individual identified as Kevin, a former engineer at Arkham. In the video, Kevin asserts that Arkham utilized backdoor exploits within Binance and FTX to establish connections between exchange users and their private cryptocurrency wallets. He further claims that the CTO of Arkham requested Kevin to create multiple accounts in his name to bypass AML KYC restrictions on account creation. If these allegations are accurate, it suggests that the company was using several Binance accounts to track transactions and deposit and withdrawal addresses, enhancing its ability to identify the owners of Binance-linked addresses. That would be a serious infringement on user privacy and a violation of terms of service. The CryptoLeaks report also levels accusations of securities violations, describing management practices as cult-like and pointing to other unethical behavior at Arkham unrelated to the exchange exploits. While these broader allegations negatively impact the company, they provide fewer specific details than the claims related to exchange hacking. It's kind of scary stuff. All right, let's check CoinMarketCap. Let's see what's how are we going into the weekend then? Hi, Sufiana L295, and hi, anonymous user CA8E3, and Francis Cook, and SBD 731. All right. What are we looking at? So fear and greed index is at 43 today. Yesterday, I think it was 44. I could be wrong, and I have to go check the show. But Bitcoin is at $27,693.84. It's down 0.91% in the last 24 hours. Still up 3.13% in the last 7 days. Last Friday, basically. The global crypto market cap is $1.09 trillion. So that went down since yesterday, a 0.76% decrease over the last day. Ethereum is at $1,635.82, down 0.16% over the last 24 hours, also down 2.17% in the last 7 days. BNB is at $211.84, down 0.41% over the last 24 hours, down 1.82% over the last 7 days. XRP is at 52 cents 19, down 0.83% in the last 24 hours, down 1.42% in the last 7 days. Solana is at $23.10, down 0.56% in the last 24 hours, still up 13.66% over the last 7 days, because Solana did have a pretty good run over the week. ADA from Cardano is up 0.03%, which is almost nothing, to 26 cents 29. Over the last 7 days, they're up 3.11%. Dogecoin is at 6 cents 109, small downtick by 0.21% over the last 24 hours, down 1.40% in the last 7 days. TRX from Tron is down 3.19% in the last 24 hours, down 2.93% in the last 7 days, to 8 cents 622. Ton from Toncoin is up 2.70% today, down 3.38% for the last 7 days, to $2.14. Matic on Polygon has barely moved in the last 24 hours. It was down 0.01% when I was about to read it, and then went up 0.02%. So it's very there's movement, but it's going up and down by 0.0x% right now. It's still up 7.20% over the last week to 55 cents 98. All right, let's look at the biggest losers and biggest winners of the day. Rune on Thorchain is down 10.71% for the last 24 hours to $1.78, down 8.46% over the last 7 days as well. Bitcoin BSV is down 3.88% in the last 24 hours to $35.45, but they're also up 12.23% over the last 7 days. If we take a look back, Gala is at 1 cent 451, down 3.28% in the last 24 hours, down 1.25% over the last 7 days. Phantom is down 3.22% over the last 24 hours. Almost no change in the last 7 days, down 0.15% to 19 cents 15. We talked about TRX Tron already. And everything else is down less than 3%. We have a lot that's down right now. Let's take a look. Yeah, I can scroll quite a bit. Quite a few cryptocurrencies aren't doing so good today. AVAX from Avalanche is up 7.15% in the last 24 hours, up 15.82% in the last 7 days to $10.67. That's actually pretty good right now. That's nearly twice as much as Ton from Toncoin that we talked about earlier that comes in second as far as today's winners. And then the only other one that's up more than 3% is RNDR from Render, up 3.31% in the last 24 hours, up 13.54% in the last 7 days to $1.74. So those are the ones there. Let's see how far we can scroll before we hit someone in the negative. Not as far. So there are a lot more cryptocurrencies not doing well right now than there are cryptocurrencies doing well right now today. Yeah, we're closer to the negative side of the fear and greed index right now. But who knows? Something could happen today that completely switches things around. It could happen, you know. So that's the show for today. Thanks for joining. USDT Abdo, nice to have you with us. Binance user D2F94, hi. Edison 242, nice to have you with us as well. Just nice to have you guys here. Don't forget to like the video so you so I can tell Jodah, Dan, and George that you liked the Spotlight interview. Also, don't forget to subscribe so you get notifications when we go live with something interesting. I think this weekend I might jump on, play a game, and talk with you guys about random crypto and AI things if you're up for that. Otherwise, I don't have anything else planned this weekend for the show. I'm not aware of any interesting debates to watch with you guys and comment or anything else at the moment. So that might be what we do this weekend. But definitely subscribe so you get notifications when something's going to happen. I might prepare a live maybe an hour before I actually do it, or maybe right before I actually do it this weekend. And otherwise, if I don't do that this weekend, I'll see you Monday. Have a great Friday, a great weekend. See you guys.